What's going on, guys? MariK here, and with the Star Wars Battlefront collection less than 2 weeks away, I thought this would be a good time to discuss map strategies. For those of you who haven't had the chance to play the original Battlefront online or haven't played since the original servers were shut down. So in these videos, we'll be taking a look at the layouts to each map and going over different strategies that you can take for each of the various factions. The Tatooine Dune Sea is one of my all-time favorite maps in this game. I wish they had put it in the second game. It's actually one of the most, if not the most unique map in all of Battlefront, because it actually has 3 factions on the map. While maps like Kashyyyk have the Wookiees, Endor has the Ewoks, the Dune Sea has the Tusken Raiders. But not only are they a complete third party, they are hostile to all factions. They also have their own 2 command posts in the Tusken Camp and the Cisterns. The Cisterns is a very dangerous command post because that's where the Sarlacc pit is. And this is not just there for show. If you get too close, the tentacles will reach out, grab you, and it is an instant death. When spawning in as the Empire and the clones, you have the Sandcrawler and the Dune Sea, which a preferable place to spawn. But in my opinion, the best command post to hold on to is the Homestead, which is one of the command posts the Droids and the Rebels spawn with, along with the Bluff. Most of these command posts are pretty underwhelming for the most part, and most of the battles happen at the command posts of the Homestead and the Cisterns. When playing as the Empire, you guys know one of my favorite things to do is jump into a walker and just start hammering shit, and the ATST is just such a fun vehicle to play in, and really it's very well suited to this map. If you want to be extra cheeky, you can go over here towards this this stone walkway that it provides you with a good bit of cover. It does somewhat hinder your ability to see past it and see over towards the command post. But it also grants you some cover as well, which is definitely a thing that you kind of want to have, especially when you've got speeder tanks with rockets blasting at you, and then you've got, rocket troopers who are also doing the same thing. The Homestead command post is just such a fun one to sit and take shots at because, as I said, it is one of the more populated command posts, and a lot of the battles happen in and around this command post. The Tusken Raiders, as you can see, will also peek out from their own spawn points and just to pick fights, just to start shit. Once you've gotten your initial kills and have dispatched the tanks that start at the beginning of the map, you can walk around to the command post and really start dishing out some pain, because it's just such an open command post. The area around it grants you so much freedom with the ATST, and you can just sit and just slaughter rebel after rebel after rebel. These cannons do so much freaking damage, it's unreal. And I mean, this command post is just full of free kills. And then honestly, once you're mopping up the enemies, your allies can come in and just take the command posts for your team. And from that point, you're pretty much golden. As you can see, we're almost 100 troops up on the rebels right now, between them dealing with us just absolutely decimating their forces, and then the Tusken Raiders over there causing trouble on the other side of their second command post. We're really not pressed for reinforcements, for time. It's such an easy win. When playing as an infantry unit, one of the things you can do is spawn at the Sandcrawler. It's not my preferred spawn point, but if you're going to go sniper, it's probably one of the better spawn points because of this rock ledge right here. And whoops, that was a bad shot. You can just walk right up here, and you've got an amazing vantage point to snipe from above. And honestly, the only downside to this is running out of ammo. Another strategy you can take would be grabbing a speeder bike from the sandcrawler and just riding straight over to the homestead and jumping right in. From there, you can kind of just try to take the command post. You're going to be heavily under fire because it's such a small command post and it is at a lower elevation than the outside, but it can also pay off really well for you. You can take the command post, or you can just cause a lot of chaos, and your enemy will then have to devote some of their forces to preventing you from taking the command post, and if you do take it, then they're going to be scrambling to go ahead and get it back. Killing the Tusken Raiders will, of course, pad your stats, but it won't really do anything in the long run, so I wouldn't waste my time or my ammo unless I absolutely needed to. It's honestly, if you just leave them alone, it's a better option to just have them as, like, another set of troops to attack your enemy faction, and you're kind of just letting them do the work for you. You also have the option of taking a speeder bike over towards the back of the Tusken encampment and entering their command post via the Skywalker method. Just be careful because you will be alone and they will outnumber you. Outgunning you is a whole separate issue because they're not necessarily well armed. Their weapons aren't the best, and the Tuskens themselves are pretty fragile, but taking this command post does one of two, well, it does a couple of different things. The first thing is that once you eliminate the Tusken command posts, they no longer spawn. As long as they have at least one, they'll continue to spawn and they'll continue to do things. They can take over command posts, they can fight, do whatever. But once they lose their command posts, they no longer have the option, like they no longer spawn. They are no longer a threat, and it will be back to it just being the two factions. While it does give your faction more command posts and more control over the battlefront, it takes away the third party that is also causing your enemy faction some trouble, and, you know, scoring some extra kills that your team doesn't have to work towards. When playing as the rebels and the droids, you have the option of attempting to be as aggressive as possible. Especially as the rebels, I would recommend 100% taking the fight to them, wiping out their AT-ATs as soon as possible. You also have the option as the rebel sniper to sit back and snipe in the same position that you would as the Imperial sniper. The downside to this is you've got the Tusken Raiders at your back, which if you're not careful, they can take you out. Most of the time, they won't pay a whole lot of attention to you. It's another one of those maps that when it comes to the rebels and the droids, the main command post that I like is the homestead, and then when it comes to the Empire and the droids, or the Empire and the clones, I like the Dune Sea the best, but it's just, it doesn't, not that it feels one-sided, but it definitely feels like, because of the way the battles go, the rebels and the droids are at a slight disadvantage. See, I even sat there and hit this damn walker with the orbital strike, and it didn't really do a damn thing. You also have the option of just storming the Tusken encampment and attempting to take it by force, but the downside is you're stuck running up to the front door, whereas the Empire and the clones can go through the secret entrance. And that's going to be it for our strategic map overview of Tatooine Dune Sea. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection comes out in just 2 weeks, so we hope to see you on the battlefront.